Guys, just like last time, I'm going to do the first 6 with you. Now, something to keep in mind is that by reading the name, you can figure out whether or not it is a polyatomic ion. So for the first one, it says aluminum sulfite. I know that this is a polyatomic ion because it has ITE on the end. Okay? Anything found on the periodic table will have an IDE on the end. So I'm going to go ahead and write this just like I would write any other formula. I'm going to write Al for aluminum and put that's charge. And then sulfite, all I have to do is look it up on the back. Now if you haven't found it yet, this is where all the polyatomic ions are on your periodic table. They are divided up by charge and they are divided up by name. So we're looking for sulfite. So in the first column, you don't see it in the name. So look in the second column. And sulfite is right here. It's SO3 with a -2. The difference is that you're going to treat this SO3 like one whole thing. Okay? Think of the S as being the first name and the O3 as being the last name. You cannot change this 3. If you change the 3, you're changing what it is. So if your name is George Jones and I call George Johnson, I am calling a different person. I am not talking about George Jones, I'm talking about George Johnson, okay? So keep that in mind. Everything that is printed there has to stay there, okay? Now the charges switch just like normal. So the charge for aluminum is going to become how many sulfites I have, and the charge for sulfite is going to become how many aluminums I have. That doesn't change. But what does change is this thing is treated like one thing rather than just an element. Okay? So your answer is Al, little 2, parentheses, SO3, that's sulfites, parentheses, 3. And that means that I have 3 sulfites. Okay? So we're going to try the next one. The next one is aluminum phosphate. So we are going to do aluminum, and I know that is +3. And then phosphate, we're going to look it up. Again, just look down each column until you find phosphate. They're in alphabetical order. It's right here. Phosphate is PO4 with a -3 charge. Okay, so just like we said before, charges switch. Now these charges happen to be the same, right? So they're going to cancel out. So it'll just be Al PO4, and then there's no space there. It's just Al PO4. So aluminum sulfate, aluminum, and if you notice, I put these all in alphabetical order just to make your lives easier. So once you look one up, you don't have to keep looking it up. Now sulfate, notice sulfate is different than sulfite, but all the ites and all the 8s are on this table here, you guys. They're not going to be on the periodic table. So just look until you find it. Sulfate is alphabetical here. It's SO4 -2. So sulfite was SO3 -2 and sulfate is SO4 -2. That's very common. The sulfate will have 1 more oxygen than the sulfite. So SO4 -2. So we are going to switch our charges, and remember, for switching charges with a polyatomic, you have to put parentheses around it. Okay, so it's Al2, parentheses, SO4, parentheses, 3. Now just to explain quickly why you would put parentheses. So we have SO4, and we know we had 3 of them in that last formula. So if I wrote SO4, 3, that would look like there's 43 O's, right? So that's why we have to have this parentheses here. Okay, not for any other reason. Okay, I will do 3 more with you. I'm going to do the right side. So calcium, Calcium is +2. Now, you have calcium oxide. Oxide is from the periodic table. So, this IDE on the ends mean it's from the periodic table. It is oxygen. Just look up oxygen's charge, and that is -2. The charges are the same, so they're going to cancel. So it's going to be CaO. Okay. Calcium phosphate. Phosphate, we did over here. Phosphate is PO4 and -3 charge. So our charges are going to cross, so the 3 goes over here. We need to use parentheses. If we didn't use parentheses, remember that would look like a 42. So Ca3 parentheses, PO4 parentheses 2. Last one is cobalt. Now, cobalt, they give us the charge, so it's a transition metal. And selenide, it has IDE on the end, so I know that's from the periodic table. So that's selenium. So that is Se. And we're going to find that guy on the periodic table. It's right here. So selenium's charge is -2. So they have the same charge, so they cross out. So COSE. Okay? So now you've learned all the different kinds, and I'll do one more video with you showing you a flowchart that you can use. Now you won't be able to use the flowchart on the quiz, but it will help you to be able to figure some stuff out.